Hello there, guys, and welcome back to my channel for the preview ahead of, at least so far, the biggest game of our season, the biggest game in our manager's career, and the biggest game for a few players in the squad. Obviously, some of them have won the Champions League, but not all of them have. A lot of them haven't gone anywhere near this kind of pressure game. It's huge. I can't even put into words how big it is. If we get knocked out tomorrow, season's done. It's literally all or nothing. Tomorrow is all or nothing for the manager, for the club, for us fans. Tomorrow is all or nothing. Unfortunately, Dortmund have won their last 10 or 11 games in a row. Like, they are in absolutely unbelievable form. Well, we scraped our first win in more than a month last weekend, and it was so not particularly pretty that people were still not happy, even though we finally won a game. And that shows you just how miserable things are with Chelsea at the moment. My God. And the fact that we haven't scored 2 goals since December 27th, and the fact that we haven't scored more than 2 goals since playing Wolves in October, and needing at least 2 goals tomorrow unless we win on penalties, it's looking difficult. It's looking difficult. But in a weird way, and the but will come, give me a second, but in a weird way, I kind of feel like we're going to turn up for it. I kind of feel like we maybe got this in us. But when I say I feel like we might be up for this, I feel like we might be, turning up tomorrow, I'm basing this off the history of Chelsea, as Chiellini once said about Spurs. But in the opposite way, we tend to turn up. The bigger the game, the more we tend to turn up. Less so in the Premier League, to be honest, because we've had a really bad record against the top 6 for years. But in Europe and in one-off big games, we tend to turn up. The question is, will this team turn up? And will this team with this manager turn up? And that's where it gets tricky. That's where I don't know. I generally don't know. I have to go into tomorrow just hoping, because I'm not going to... Today, in my opinion, there's no point talking about, Potter shouldn't be here, this and that. Doesn't matter now. He is here. We're going to tomorrow, and we just need to hope it goes as well as it possibly can. And then we make it to the quarterfinals and we'll all be buzzing our tits off. That'd be great. Bobby, thank you for being back on. I think you've only been on the channel once before. So, ladies and gentlemen, maybe you haven't seen him before, but I'm glad to have you back on, mate. How are you feeling ahead of tomorrow? Like I say, I haven't had you on that many times. So I've not really been speaking to you in that much detail about what's been happening over the last few weeks. But how do you feel at the moment? Like, yes, we got a win on the weekend, but it wasn't great. But do you still think getting that win puts us in a at least somewhat better position to do what we need to do tomorrow night than had we dropped points again against Leeds?
Hey, Laurenz. Thanks for having me on again. Yeah, it's kind of difficult to get on this all the time with 2 little kids and,
time difference.
work time difference, 2 little kids working around their schedule and everything. But I feel relatively encouraged for tomorrow. Obviously the Leeds win wasn't impressive or anything, but it felt good to get back on track. And I would say being at Stamford Bridge, and I know the crowd's going to be electric because for whatever reason, UCL nights, that's when Stamford Bridge feels most alive, at least from watching on TV. Absolutely. And I just think that the crowd's going to push the team to put in the effort. And I would also say, the first 15, 20 minutes against Leeds, I felt that effort that the players were putting in was the most effort I had seen from them in a long time. So that was encouraging, to see a little bit of fight and some effort. And if they can take that and, with the crowd and just the fact that it's a UCL knockout game, I think that the players are going to be up for it, and there's a legitimate chance that they could get 1-2 goals and win 2-0, 2-1. If it goes 2-1, obviously we've got extra time and penalties. But, I feel relatively encouraged, not as doom and gloom as what's mostly been the case of recent, matches. But, I think we got a shot, and I'm looking forward to it.
There you go. I'm also looking forward to it. In a way, I'm also terrified, because if it doesn't go well, like I say, it's basically the end of our season. I'm missing content for the rest of the season. Like, what am I going to talk about? Do you know what I mean? So, I'm also terrified. But like I say, I'm also excited because I'm like, well, if we turn up, this could change everything. But how many times over the last few weeks have I thought that? Pice, let me get to you. Thank you for being back on as always, my bro. I appreciate it. Do you share any of Bobby's positive feelings? Is there also something in you, as much as you not even just question Potter, but aren't a fan of Potter, would prefer for him to be gone and have probably big questions about a lot of players in this team? Is there still something in you that feels like it's a Champions League night. We might just turn up because it's kind of what we do? Or do you question whether that's going to happen with this team, with this manager under this ownership?
No, I think, I do have a little bit in me where I'm like, yeah, I can feel a comeback. I can feel, that kind of typical Champions League night at Stamford Bridge. I mean, 2-0 without replies, especially if Dortmund play like how they did, like, in the first leg. Like, I don't think they're just going to come here and just sit back. I feel like they'll want to get a goal. So actually, I think the game depends on the first goal, really. I mean, if Dortmund go 1-0 up, Chelsea have to score 3. Yeah, that is done, I think. Chelsea have to get the first goal, and I think it has to.
I guess if we get 2, we take it to pens, right? Because there's no away goals rule anymore. So we
that's true, but you don't, like, Dortmund get the first goal, they're just going to sit back. And we know how that goes, especially like because of the crowd at the moment. At the weekend, I wasn't there, but I could see very, very frustrated. Yeah, one guy actually messaged me who was in the Matthew Harden, and he said, I don't know if you saw it, Pice, but there was one moment where Chelsea were like, I don't know, passing the ball too slowly or something around the back, and I think the fans were moaning, and like Havertz apparently turned around and like told the fans to calm down, like get behind the team type thing. So there's definitely a lot of like,
right, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of like, I don't know the word. I guess just annoyance amongst the fans, really. Just like a bit of
frustration,
frustration more than anything. But we won at the weekend. We needed that going into this game. I don't necessarily think it's the biggest of confidence boosters, to be honest with you. But
it's just maybe calmed the whole environment down, I think, rather than that it drastically boosted our confidence, like you say, because it was only 1-0. It was against a team that isn't that good in comparison to Dortmund, especially. But the fact that things would have calmed down a little bit, like the whole pressure, the vibe, a little bit calmed down. I think that it's the part that maybe helped, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I expect us to win tomorrow, though. I think we're going to turn up. I think the fans are going to turn up as well. It'll be a big atmosphere, and I think the main thing for us is just starting the first 20 minutes, like just come out absolute like on fire. Like if we come out like just pass the ball around the back, and it's all this, like it was against Tottenham away, where it was just kind of like conserved, and all the fans were like, oh my god, we're going to come out and just smash Tottenham. Like I feel like tomorrow there's a lot of confident fans of we're going to come out firing out the blocks. We need the goals. It's going to be different, and if it's not that, then it's going to be a major letdown. So, yeah, I guess it's hope more than anything. But, we're only 1 goal behind. Dortmund are on a winning streak, but they're not as good as us. If we play well, we'll beat them at the end of the day, in my opinion.
Yeah, I do agree with that. But then again, it's not always just about how good are your players, how good is your team. When you've won 10 or 11, whatever it is, in a row, like you also just play better than you are. So that's why that's what makes it difficult. While because we win so little at the moment, we also don't play as well as we can, right? We don't play as good as we are. So that's what makes it difficult. But I think you've mentioned or brought up an arguably interesting debate there. There's been a couple of people in the chat that kind of have slightly different views, because you say you don't see Dortmund as sitting back. Maybe only once they take the lead in also this second leg, then they will sit back. It's an interesting one because from a logical perspective, you would say they probably should at least be not as aggressive on it. Then again, when you think of this game in Dortmund weren't that aggressive even in that game. Like, especially, like, we dominated large chunks of the game, and when they had chances, it was usually on the counter-attack. So it's not like they were constantly at us, super aggressive, super, offensive. But what I will say is Dortmund are not a team that know how to sit back. And by that, I'm not saying because they're bad at it, but because they never do that. They never need to do that. They're one of the top 2-3 teams in the Bundesliga. They don't tend to make it very far in Europe. So in what situations would they ever be sitting back? And even when they play a team that's arguably better than them, like Bayern Munich, they don't sit back. So, like, I'm not sure if Dortmund's, like you said, I'm not sure if Dortmund's first call to action will be, okay, let's be a bit more defensive. And if they do, I'm not even sure if that's going to be as much of a bad thing as people pointed out, because teams that aren't used to being defensive are easier to break down when they're trying to be defensive than when they do what they are used to doing, So like when we play Leeds or, all the other examples that you could give, Southampton, whoever else, who are used to sitting back on a fairly regular basis, they know what to do in that situation. But Dortmund aren't used to that. So maybe I'm even hoping that they do. Aaron, how do you, first of all, thank you for being back on. I appreciate it as always, like I say. But what's your view on that? Do you expect Dortmund to sit back and try to defend the 1-0 lead? Or do you see it like Pies and they will only start to sit back a little bit if they take the lead tomorrow? But even then, I'm not 100% sure because it's just not Dortmund's DNA to sit back. It's just not what they do. Like, I'm not saying they're going to be all guns blazing, attacking constantly. Of course not. But a serious sitting back as we define it, as we know it from the Premier League and from Chelsea's past, I don't really see Dortmund doing that at any point, really, unless for like to see a game out at the very last few minutes type thing.
Firstly, thank you for having me on again, bro. The thing is, I don't watch enough of Dortmund myself to know exactly how they play. I can only judge off like what I've seen in Europe. But even when you look at it from a logical standpoint, I think when you're going into the second leg 1-0 up, the worst thing you could probably do is just defend because you're effectively setting up to just soak up the pressure for 90 minutes. And I feel like even though we haven't been at our best, there's only a certain amount of time that you can do that before you start to really struggle. So I don't think they'll go into the game looking to just sit back and hold their 1-0 lead. I think they will go and try and get a second goal, get that cushion up a little bit so they've got a little bit of a gap to sort of play with. But I don't think they're going to defend straight away. I think they'll try and get a goal, cement that 2-0 lead if they can. And then they might look to sit back a bit more or maybe put more bodies into like the midfield, for example, just to keep a little bit more possession, that sort of thing. So I don't think they're going to sit back straight away, but I do think they're going to make it very difficult. And even if they don't, which I think they'll come out and try and get a goal, they're a big threat. So it is going to be very difficult for us.
No, exactly, especially because we need to go for it in terms of we are trailing, and their biggest type of threat against good teams is usually on a counter-attack. But one thing that has drastically changed for them compared to the last game is that they're missing that one main counter-attacking outlet that they have in Karim Adeyemi because he is injured. Obviously, the guy that scored the 1-0 in the first leg. I forget his first name, but their goalkeeper, Kobel, he was yesterday reported by Sky Sports he's going to miss the game. He's going to be injured. But now today, it's come out that he has traveled and it's going to be like a race against time for him to potentially be fit. I mean, not sure if you know any more than that. Is that the latest you know as well, that he has traveled and they're hoping he can make it? Or what is the level of information you have on that one? Because like I say, Sky said yesterday he's out. So now he seems to not be. Or at least he traveled even if he can't play. Maybe he's just traveled for emotional support. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right. It was so he's traveled and it's going to be like a late call. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens. It's very weird because Sky Germany are very, very accurate. So when they said he's out, I was like, yeah, okay, then he's out. But he seems to have traveled. I don't know whether it's, mind games or what's going on. But yeah, the Dortmund account that I do speak to said like, they if there's like a 1% chance he can play, he'll play because like he's their main guy and like he's one of their best players. So
and their backup isn't very good.
Yeah, no, their backup's not very good. So yeah, I'd imagine they'd rush him in, but I don't even know what his injury is, by the way. So I don't know.
I think it's a muscle injury. So I'm like, you're a goalie. Yeah. You're not running around that much. Like,
well, hopefully he pulls a muscle and he does a goal kick and he has to go off then.
Or as he's trying to jump to save something and then he can't jump, and that'd be quite
just. Nice. Now VAR would probably give it as a foul.
Fuck's sake, yeah, it probably would, my days. But yeah, so bloody hell, coughing all over the shop. Bobby, let me get back to you. Do you think them having, or missing rather, I should say, Adeyemi and potentially their goalkeeper, and even if he does play, him not being at 100%, even though, like I say, it can certainly be debated how much of an effect that has on a goalkeeper if you have a little bit of, a tight muscle. As a goalkeeper, how much will that affect you? But do you think that will change things drastically? Because, like I say, when I look at their run of form, okay, they lost one friendly in December, but they haven't lost a competitive game since the 11th of November when they lost 4-2 to Borussia Mönchengladbach. But one also has to add to that, the Bundesliga didn't restart after the World Cup until January 22nd. So, like, they started much later. So, but still, the fact that they haven't lost the game since November, a competitive game, I mean, how often have we as Chelsea fans, when you are in those kind of seasons where you're just winning, once you are winning, it's very difficult, arguably, to stop winning because things, I don't know, once you're in that run, number one, you're more confident, you're just more likely to do things well in terms of finishing, in terms of, defending. But also, I feel like once you're on a good run, things just go your way. Now, every run comes to an end, no matter whose run it is. Every run comes to an end. But with all of those things mentioned, missing Adeyemi, potentially missing a goalkeeper, but their run. How do you feel, like, not just in terms of, can we beat them, but how do you feel about Dortmund? Like, how good of a team do you see them as? Because I know Pice was saying, and he was saying it on Twitter as well, like, we should be good enough to beat Dortmund in terms of squad. But is it just the squad that matters in this scenario? Now they're missing Adeyemi, and potentially the goalkeeper, we should be even more likely to beat them. But does that outweigh their form? Because I think nothing matters more in football than form, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think they've been very good. I watch every Dortmund game in the Bundesliga. It's very easy access out here. I watched the game on Friday against Leipzig, and they did park the bus, especially in the second half. Okay, they really parked the bus. Leipzig had 62% possession, 17 shots. And to be honest, it at least should have ended in a draw. Leipzig missed a lot of chances, and Kunku played probably the worst game I've seen him play in the past 2 years.
And then he got injured as well.
Yeah. But also, like, their first goal was a pen, and then their second goal was a deflected set piece that Emre Can put in. Okay. But obviously their form's been really good, and they have made a pretty big adjustment they're playing with more like 3 natural midfielders now with the Ozcan. I don't know how to properly say his name, but Emre Can and then Jude Bellingham, where, mostly like last year and then at the start of the season, they would play with like 3 attacking players, a number 9, and then 2 center mids behind them. But I think that there's cracks in their run. Just like I think Leipzig outplayed them on Friday. And this goalkeeper, Meyer, last year he played a lot for them because Roman Berkey fell off a cliff. And Meyer had a lot of mistakes, like just weird mistakes that would lead to goals. And I could see potentially that happening if he starts again tomorrow. And I know that they're on a great run, but based on the quality of players that Chelsea has, it being at Stamford Bridge, I feel like there's a very good chance that we could win this game. 2-0, at least make it 2-1. But
when you said, how you're saying Leipzig arguably outplayed them and at least deserved the draw, isn't that the best sign for kind of what I was talking about, in the sense that once you're on a run, the run just usually keeps going? Obviously, again, everything comes to an end at some point. But if they hadn't been on such a good run of form, after what you've just explained, would they have won that game? That's kind of what I'm getting at, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. But I don't know. I believe they were at home on Friday, so they had the home crowd, behind them, and I just feel that eventually their run's going to come to an end, and I think it's going to be tomorrow. Yeah.
I do. Let's bloody hope so, man. Let's bloody hope so. But very good info. Maybe I'll take back what I said in terms of they never sit back. It's not in their identity.
Friday,
did you feel like that they did it on purpose?
I felt like it was a dress
to
rehearsal.
Sit back, or did Leipzig force them into it?
I feel like it was a dress rehearsal preparing for tomorrow. They really sat back in a weird way that I've not seen Dortmund sit back that much.
And did they look uncomfortable doing so?
Yeah, Leipzig created a number of chances. Szoboszlai had a shot just fizz off the post. Multiple missed chances from the forward players. Yeah, I genuinely feel that Leipzig should have at least made it 2-2 in the second half.
Fair enough, Pice. I'm not going to throw you under the bus in terms of asking you about Dortmund versus Leipzig, because I assume you haven't seen it. But what Bobby just finished his point with leads us very nicely into a discussion that I was going to have before we take more of a deep dive into this game from our perspective as well. Is it this one? Yes. There are apparent interests by Chelsea into Dominic Szoboszlai, as per Fabrizio Romano. So in terms of source, doesn't get much bigger than this. You have tweeted it. Chelsea have sent scouts to follow Dominic Szoboszlai. At the moment, nothing is close or done. Other clubs also appreciate the player. Now, people might have seen my tweet. My initial reaction to Szoboszlai was the opposite of positive, because I because he used to play in Austria, he used to play at Red Bull Salzburg before moving to RB Leipzig, because that's just how things work in the Red Bull company. You just move from one club to the other and you either do nothing about it, because it's perfectly fine, obviously. They transfer the money from one of your accounts into your other account. It's like basically if you have your bank account and put it into a savings account, same thing happens. It's weird. But anyway, we can hopefully at least replicate. If someone mugs off UEFA, at least we can maybe do it as well with the multi-club model. But he's not had the best reputation in Austria in terms of that it's just extremely inefficient, and a player that clearly has a lot of talent, has great touch, technically super gifted, has a good shot in him. But there was people talking about how he lacks effort. He doesn't try hard enough constantly. He doesn't really have a set, he has attributes that are very good, but not attributes that fit him into a specific position. He's not an ideal 10. He's he plays in wide areas all the time, but he doesn't really have the pace for that one. So it's he's a weird player that I personally am not too gassed about. Now, when you look at his stats, he really doesn't look bad, to be fair to him. But then again, neither did Timo Werner, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't really get too gassed just by that. But yeah, I mean, when I speaking to people that have worked, not worked with him in terms of that they were part of the coaching staff, but that worked at RB Salzburg while he was at Salzburg, and then talking to staff and stuff at the time, them saying it's basically best at nutmegging and hitting penalties. If you're best at nutmegging and hitting penalties, I'm not sure you should be coming to Chelsea. But again, he's not a bad player overall. I mean, I don't know. It's a tough one. It's my initial reaction, like I say, was meh. But my next point to it would be where would we even play him? He's attribute-wise, I think mostly best suited to a 10, even though he seems to have never played a 10, but that's partly because Leipzig done. And then he plays right mid, left mid, but he's nowhere near fast enough for that. Where would we even put him there? I just don't see where we will put him in the team. Let's imagine we keep Felix and we get Nkunku. So then we have those two kind of for the 10 areas mostly, I think. We have, yes, Ziyech, maybe Pulisic, those will leave. But then still, we have a lot of players in wide areas. Would you want to put him in a wide area? Like I say, I don't think it's quick enough. I don't know. It's a link to me where I'm okay, so Vibel was just trying to sign his ex-players. That's what it feels like to me, rather than okay, he's the type of player that we require. That's my perspective. But Pies, how do you see it? You said he looks very creative, and I guess he does. But if he looks creative from positions that either we don't even play or have plenty other players in, what's the point in bringing him in?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know too much about him, but I have watched him quite a few times, and I know he has a really good shot on him. He's left-footed, isn't he, as well? And
not actually sure.
yeah, I think he is left-footed. But when I was speaking to someone, they were telling me he's more of a they think he's played a lot, not as a right wing.
Actually, apparently, according to this year,
he's right-footed.
Yeah.
I always thought he was left-footed. That's weird. Anyway, yeah, when I was speaking to someone, they were telling me he's not really a right winger, but he plays a lot in an inside forward role. And I was thinking, well, maybe that could make sense if we play the three at the back. But in terms of a 4-2-3-1, I'm not really too sure where he fits.
I don't like his chin. Sorry. No, I've seen this part. I'm what is this? Anyway, go on.
It's an interesting one because it's another player where you're like you said, there's no set position. It's just he's very versatile. He might be okay on the left. He might be good in a 10. He might be okay as an inside forward. But is he really a game changer that we need? No.
Apparently he's played most games in his career as a centre mid. And we already have 15 8s at the club. So
yeah, I mean, maybe he's a Mason Mount replacement. I don't know. Or a Ziyech replacement. I don't know. But it's not to say that the deal's going to get done, but I just thought it's very interesting how, Fabrizio just kind of backed it up and Chelsea.
I guess Fabrizio said we send scouts. You never know. Maybe the scouts come back and say, no, actually, we shouldn't sign him. Could happen.
Yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting one. I did watch the Leipzig Dortmund game.
To be fair, okay.
And
Insights, your opinion?
What's that?
What do you think of it?
I thought it was pretty boring, to be honest.
Bundesliga games are rarely boring, to be fair. So surprising.
Dortmund got the second goal was the most luckiest goal I've ever seen. Maybe that's indicative of what their run is like right now. Everything's just going for them. But yeah, I thought Julian Brandt was probably Dortmund's most influential player. I mean, Royce scored a penalty. He didn't play against us in the first leg, so. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't really. I know they're on a 10-game winning streak. I just don't really see the hype with them. Like, I think they're there to be got at. I think Chelsea should be beating them over 2 legs. I think, if any other manager got knocked out by Dortmund, I think there'd be big problems. So I'm not like downplaying them, but I just Chelsea shouldn't be getting knocked out by Dortmund
Nothing
in
to
the
do with the
Champions League.
manager, though. Like, I mean, yeah, I agree. No, we wouldn't be happy no matter, like, if we get knocked out by Dortmund. Remember when the draw happened, we were like, in the grand scheme of things, compared to what we could have got, this is not a bad draw to get. Obviously, them being on such a run, and like we touched on, confidence just playing such a big difference. But in general, I agree. We have the better team. We should be winning. But, we should also be winning against Fulham and Southampton. And, we should be winning against a lot of teams that we haven't been winning against. So
Yeah, but like I always say this with Chelsea, and I still think it. Well, I mean, we'll see tomorrow night, but I still think it applies to where Chelsea could easily beat Dortmund and then lose to Leicester. Like, that's Chelsea to me. Like Chelsea struggling to beat Southampton and Fulham, and then beating Dortmund 3-0 tomorrow just wouldn't surprise me at all. But I don't know whether we're the same. We've got that like.
If we're the same, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know because obviously it's a very new squad, so yeah, we'll just have to see. But I keep saying this though, like we've got the attacking talent to put so many goals past teams, we just don't. And even at the weekend, it was like we had a lot of chances at the weekend, and we scored only a corner header. It's just infuriating. So surely there's going to be one game like soon where we're just going to put 4 past someone because.
We need it.
I don't know, man. Like we looked a lot better in the 3 at the back as well. I think. I just think it looked more comfortable.
Yeah, I don't even disagree with you, but then it depends on what I compare it to, no? Because if I compare it to how we played in Dortmund, did we look better against who did we fucking play? Leeds. Did we look better against Leeds than we did against Dortmund? No. Did we look better against Leeds than we looked in the first 20 minutes, as an example, against West Ham? I think we looked much better in that game. So it's like for a whole game, I would probably agree. It's just so painful to me that our team is so clearly so much more comfortable in a back 3 because that's all they've been drilled into, especially by as good a manager as Thomas Tuchel obviously is, drilling into what you need to do in this shape. And they got so good at it. Yes, sure, it slowed down the longer Tuchel was here for in terms of attacking output. But in terms of how comfortable they were in the team, it's so obvious that they are more comfortable with this, which, number one, is a bit of a negative damning fact on Potter because you've used the back 4 for a while now. The fact that they are still so much more comfortable with back 3 doesn't bode well in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, we'll get into what the formation we should be playing tomorrow in a little bit. Let me just quickly continue on Szoboszlai here and ask Aaron's thoughts and Bobby's thoughts quickly as well on this. I mean, this season in 21 games, 4 goals, 8 assists, not bad. Last season, 6 goals, 8 assists, good. I don't know. Like I said, it's more the positions to me, and also what this doesn't say is he takes quite a few penalties for Leipzig. So I'm not sure how many of these goals are penalties. So I guess you take some of it off a little bit. But yeah, I don't really know. I'm not sold on it. I don't think this is the type of player we should be getting. We're already getting Nkunku. How many more Leipzig players do we need? We already have Kobel. Let's stop. All right? I hate Red Bull. Let's not get any more. We have too many at the club already. Do you know what I mean? Stop it. But this is me. And I understand everyone has this hatred, deep-rooted hatred in their hearts and soul for anything to do with Red Bull. I understand. But I do. Aaron, Dominic Szoboszlai. A player that you've seen much of at all, and if you have, or even if you haven't, is he a player that you think we should be interested in?
The only thing I really know of him is that he's got a pretty decent potential in career mode. But other than that, I don't I don't know all that much about him. But the stats aren't particularly impressive, if we're being completely honest. And the fact that
sorry to quickly interrupt you. If he does play most games in central midfield, which is probably more so from a few years ago rather than currently, considering he played officially right mid on Friday, the further away from goals he regularly plays, and I am not sure exactly what positions he always does play. Maybe Bobby will inform us now if he watches quite a lot of Bundesliga. But if you are quite far away from goal regularly, then these stats are actually quite impressive. So it kind of depends on where he plays all the time, no?
Yeah, I just assumed the stats were more playing from like more of an attacking midfield sort of position. But yeah, if it's from actual central midfield, then it's not too bad. But I just think in terms of sort of the other players that we've been linked with and the positions that suit us a bit better, I feel like he's probably not going to be high up that list. But he, like, when I've seen him play for Leipzig on the few occasions like Champions League and stuff, he hasn't looked too bad, but nothing where I've been like, oh wow, like
he's never stood out as like this.
He's never really moved me in that sense with his performances.
Exactly, and like even obviously Hungary isn't always the best team, but even when you've watched Hungary at like Euros and stuff, even though they sometimes get results, I never felt like, oh, Szoboszlai is like Hungarian fans will say he's their best player, and he is in terms of technically and everything else. But did I ever feel like watching Hungary, him standing out? And if you don't even stand out for Hungary, then who the flip are you standing out for? Do you know what I mean? But Bobby, you say you watch a lot of Bundesliga. I'm not sure how much that includes RB Leipzig. But what are your thoughts on Dominik Szoboszlai? Do you think he should be someone that we should be chasing or not so much?
I lean towards not so much. I agree a lot with what you said, Laurenz. Like, is he a 10? Is he an 8? Is he, a wide midfielder? He doesn't have the pace, to be anyone 1v1 on the wing for the most part. He can't say anyone, but his pace isn't very, impressive or anything. Yeah. And I just think he's like a tweener. I don't know if you're familiar with that term, but he's like in between multiple positions, and I'm kind of tired of those guys. Like, I'm tired. Like, what is Kai Havertz? Like, what is Dominik Szoboszlai? What is Mason Mount? Like, And I just feel he doesn't move the bar any direction. It's kind of like a lateral move with an attacking player, and he is more of an attacking player. I don't know what this.
And he wouldn't be cheap as well. Like, that's the thing of it. Like, he would not be cheap at all. I'm like, if he costs 30 mil, sure, might as well. Why not? If we need like, how we have like Mudryk, Sterling, and maybe sometimes in Nkunku or Felix on the side in the side areas. But if we get rid of Pulisic and Ziyech, you will need some backups. So if he was cheap, sure, then you could consider it. And I did agree with what Pai said earlier in terms of if he was like, say, a right inside forward in a 3-4-3, maybe that's a position where I could see him functioning. But yeah, I have my hesitations, shall we say. And then one other piece of news, which I want to talk about before we, again, get into more detailed discussions from Chelsea's point of view about Dortmund, the Dortmund game tomorrow. Apparently, according to The Athletic, although I'm not sure quite how good James Horncastle is, how reliable, Chelsea still hold an interest in Tammy Abraham even after the ownership takeover. There is a £70 million buyback option. I thought it was £60 million, 70 million euros, but maybe not. Yeah. Well, what do we make of this one then, lads? I'll start with you, Aaron. What do we make of this one? A few years ago, we kind of hounded him out in a way. Because, I mean, Tuchel didn't even put him on the bench anymore. He just put him on the stands. The fans were constantly criticizing him anyway. And now we want him back for almost double the money we sold him for. I mean, his first season at Roma was very good, but this season has been maybe acceptable. We'll bring up some stats in a second, but I don't know. I don't know. But what do you think, Aaron?
Sorry, I feel like I'm so scarred with just number 9s in general that I genuinely don't know how to feel. And the fact that he had a really good first season, this second season hasn't really been up to that same standard. It's kind of one of them where it's like, it just feels like we're gonna end up taking another risk on a transfer like this. And with our track record, I just feel like it probably wouldn't even pay off, and then we'd just go crazy again and want him out again. So it's a very toxic sort of rumor, because I can just tell if this was to happen, the fan base, a lot of the fan base got fucking mental. They would be like, oh, what are we doing? Could have got a better striker. We're bringing him back, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it's not one that moves me, if we're being completely honest. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether it does happen, and then see what the reaction is towards it.
Absolutely. Bobby, I'll go to you before I take this one to Pice. What do you think? This season, as you can see here, 25 games, 6 goals, 4 assists for the centre forward. I mean, that's worse stats than Szoboszlai. And Szoboszlai plays right mid and fucking centre mid. Yeah, last season was good. 17 goals I think was the best of any new signing for a Roma player ever. And all comps obviously was a little bit more. Well, not a lot more, but a little bit more. Where was the other? That was okay. So 9 in the Conference League, to be fair, but it's Conference League, man. Like Tammy was in a Champions League winning team. I would fucking expect him to score a lot in the Conference League. Yeah, is he someone to be entertained for you at all, Bobby?
Not at that price.
Yeah.
I just think 70 million is a lot for Tammy. Yeah, I just wouldn't go there for that price. Last season, he benefited a lot from Mkhitaryan, who their link-up play was really good, and Mkhitaryan is now Inter, and he's definitely missing him.
I think he also suffered from the fact that Dybala came, and Dybala has kind of become the focal point. Not in terms of physically the focal point, but the main point of the team, while last season it was him. I think that's not hampered, but Roma as a team got better, and even Tammy isn't even playing badly. Like, it's not like Roma fans are saying, "Oh, he's awful now." He's just not contributing as much because it's kind of the whole job, the whole responsibility of contributing has been shared amongst more players now.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I mean, if they could get Tommy back for 40 bill, I think it's worth a shot. But at the same time, I don't know. Like, I just feel like we have Fofana now. Like, can we give him a shot? You know?
I think we need to, like, if Fofana is even here next season, I'll be shocked. That's
True.
what Fofana I'm talking about. You know, so yeah, I don't even consider him. Like, as much as that's maybe harsher for me, and I know he started 2 games for us, I wasn't 1 game, but I don't even consider him. Like, to me, he's no different to when, I don't know, what's the best example? Like, no different to Lewis Hall, where I'm like, okay, so you're this young player who will play sometimes, but maybe we'll go on loan eventually, and who knows if you'll ever make it permanently into the first team. I see him as the same, even though we bought him. It's the same thing to me, but maybe that's just me. Price, let me take it to you, Tammy. £70 million, even though, again, I still thought when the whole thing happened, it was £60 million, €70 million to buyback clause. But hey, I assume the Athletic know better. But is he at all something to consider in your mind? Like, again, we still don't even know what to do with and where to put Lukaku. So, like, you know?
Yeah. Tammy's an interesting one because if you just look at the pure statistics, I mean, what did he get for us? Like 15 Premier League goals? Like, I mean, he's been our best striker since Costa, statistically. He knows where the back of the net is.
And
he always
has
has.
got 15 goals, 4 assists. In the second season, he then got 6 goals and 2 assists.
15 goals for Chelsea in the Premier League is very good for a striker, considering they all fail. So,
especially, like, how old was he then? 20?
Yeah, like, he's... I don't know, man. Like, for me, he's like... Tammy's always been like, he's good, but he's not quite good enough to be
and
like
he will,
that.
Sorry to interrupt you again. If we signed him, he would probably give us the same waffle Lukaku gave us, how all of the things he learned in Italy, playing the Prem, and realized, oh, all these things don't work in the Prem.
No, see, I feel like Tammy would definitely come back and score goals because I just think he's like...
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, like, I think with our attackers as well, like, you know, I don't know who we're going to fit where, and I don't even know who the manager's going to be, but yeah, it's not for that price. I think if we can get it lower, maybe, but again, I just have a feeling like he'll be bought. Like, yeah, if he gets bought, like, he'll start for a season and then we'll want someone else alongside him. Like, you know, fans will be like, oh yeah, Tammy can stay, but we still need that, like I
At
just
least
don't
Tammy
know.
would suit having, like, Nkunku and Felix around him, though.
Yeah, I just don't think he's like that guy. But then, like, who is? Because, like, every striker we buy flops, and, like, say, like, we buy like an Osimhen or something, the fans will be way more excited. But who's to say he's going to get more Premier League goals than Tammy Abraham, who knows the league, who knows Chelsea? You know, like, I just don't. Like, you'd think he would, but I bet you he probably wouldn't. Like, it's just how it goes.
We would have been much better off just not selling Tammy. You know, even if we didn't keep him as our first choice, we would have been much better off just not selling him. And then we're like,
it was difficult though because he did want to play. So
yeah, but had we sold Giroud before letting Tammy go, I think Tammy would have accepted that more. But because he was not only behind Havertz, he was also behind Giroud. He was always going to want to leave. He wasn't going to sit here.
Yeah, it's a hard one because I always preferred Giroud personally, but I don't know. Like I'm just like meh about it. Kind of like how you were with Szoboszlai, but yeah, I'm just I wouldn't be like. But I think I don't know who said it, but they're right. Like if we bought Tammy back, I know the fans would just go mental. Like what are we doing type thing? Because even when I posted that tweet, they were like, all the replies were like, "Lol," like, "What's this?" Like, no, like, so I just don't. I think the match going fans would love him back, but the online hate and toxicity, like, is that really needed? Like, I just feel like it'd be like another Mount situation, you know?
Yeah. I mean, one thing to maybe consider is also, there's obviously the rumors about Mason Mount leaving in the summer. There's even rumors about Ben Chilwell leaving in the summer. We're going to be at a point where fucking Reece James is going to be the only Englishman in our fucking squad. Oh, I took one maker. Okay, 2 then. Everybody else is going to be from somewhere. Which I don't necessarily need there to be all English players in the squad. Absolutely not. But I did quite enjoy it. Like when, under Lampard, we brought a few youth players through and there seemed like there was a togetherness because they were all like brothers, with Tomori and Tammy and Mason and Reece. So it was quite nice. So it would be quite funny if Mason left and Chile left and all of a sudden Tammy came back and Tomori's gone, obviously. But yeah, let's not get too much more. Did I ask you about Tammy, Aaron? Have I? I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, you did first.
Okay, good. Let's quickly do the quiz. Ladies and gentlemen, we have one of the most strangest but also hilarious quizzes prepared by Quizmaster Bertram today. It will be funny. Today, I will actually, rather than playing along, I will play Quizmaster, so it's like there's a little bit more structure to it. I feel like when we have 3 guests, that is enough. Pice will already kill himself when he sees the first page of it, but here we go. So basically what Bertram has turned up with is he's made a Chelsea version of like a fashion magazine. As you can see, besties since day one, Declan and Mason's story, struggling for wins, Jose reveals his secrets for success, primary white smile, read all about Angola's gorgeous teeth here. Leer of luxury, Todd's new plane is bound to make your jaw and points drop. Quite amusing, but hey, here we go. Let's go into the first page. Ladies and gentlemen, play along if you want to. And let's go. The Vogue, rather than Vogue, but hey, the Chelsea Fashion Magazine. A warm welcome to the CFC Fashion Mag, Vogue, or Vogue. Heavily inspired by Vogue, but with a W instead, because we won, and because it's trademarked and I can't afford the lawsuit. Here you are tasked to guess which Chelsea player appears and rate their fit. No Quizmaster Bertram has not lost his marbles. This is to celebrate the fashion weeks around the world. Good luck, gents. I love Bertram. He's a funny man. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, who is this? Do you have a guess in mind? I will start with you, Aaron. I feel like you're a fashionable man. So, what are you expecting? Who do you think that one is? And how would you rate the fit as well?
I might have to go pull the stream up on my laptop so I can see these properly. Hold on a second. I have no idea. Is this like current players or is this just anybody?
All sorts of players. Because this time I know the answer, so all sorts of players.
Look, it's Matic in the background. Look, so
yeah, it is Matic in the background.
That sort of
era.
Yeah.
Got something in mind at all, Aaron? Or shall I go?
Is it like a really like rogue one, or is it like a more well known?
No, you can't have that. You got to guess.
Exactly.
Come back to me. All
right, I'll come back to you, Pies. You got something in mind?
This guy's gonna look up the picture. 100%.
Chill, man. I'm just looking at the screen on my laptop so I can see you properly. Don't be slinging accusations like that.
Nah, you're cheating, bro. You're cheating.
How do I know you're not?
I'm very loyal to these quizzes, so you know.
Oh yeah, sure you are.
I think it's. I don't know why, but I think it's Hazard. I don't know why. I don't know why he would wear that, but I just feel like the size, the
pudgy belly.
There's
a little bit of belly there.
That can't be. I just feel like
I will say it's William, but it can't just from the belly. But
that's definitely
like I feel like the can see a bit of a beard. So yeah, I think it's Hazard.
All right, we'll lock Hazard in. Bobby, you got any shots for who this could be? Or do you reckon?
I think it's Hazard.
Okay,
but I've never seen Hazard wear red in my life, apart from Belgium. So
true, but then again, how often have I seen Hazard wear anything that wasn't a tracksuit or a Chelsea kit? So
yeah.
I don't know. I don't exactly follow him around like a paparazzi.
Bro's even got red shoes, man. What the hell?
He does have red shoes. He also did. Why didn't he tie them one hole further up? Looks a bit weird. Looks like he has fucking hobbit feet. But anyway, Aaron, who do you decide on? You're going to go with the boys or going to go for someone else?
I have no idea. I can see I can tell he's got like a short, like shaved head from like the side, just between the hat and the red bit. But I can't tell who it is. So I'll just roll with what they said.
There you go. Does everyone want to rate the fit? Start with you, Aaron. What do you give it out of 10? You know, usually we do player ratings, now we give fit ratings.
Yeah, that is a fucking howler. That is yeah, it is not good. It's probably a 2 or a 3 at tops.
Love it. Bobby, what would you give it out of 10?
Mine was a 3 out of a 10. 3 out of 10 for me.
All right, Pies.
Bro, I'm gonna give that a 0 because of all the red. Bro,
yeah, I don't know. Hey, we'll see what else we got to see in terms of fit. Maybe that will put things into
the
perspective.
shoes are horrendous, bro. The shoes are so bad.
It is what I agree with. And also, like, I you know, why do the jeans look like they have a dirt stain on them? Like, I know fashion and that, but what fashion is it to have a dirt stain? I find that a bit dodgy. But anyway, you boys are correct. It is Eden Hazard.
What the hell?
There
Oh
you
my
go.
god.
We get to the next slides. Who's this one? It's more difficult.
Oh my God.
you don't see nothing. But yeah, I mean, shall we read a few things on the side? Struggling for wins? Oh no, it's all the same. Okay, it hasn't changed the other ones. Okay. Who do you reckon? Anyone got anyone in mind? Bobby, I'll start with you.
I feel like this might be Mount. Mount has been wearing some crazy shit the past couple of years in photo shoots. I feel like this might be Mount.
Okay. Shall I give a little hint? Look here. Can you see that?
A little bit.
Yeah, but it's,
I'm just hinting at skin tone because he's at Mason Mount.
I've got a guess.
I've got one too.
Go on, throw it out. Go with your first place.
Reece James.
Yeah.
Okay. From you as well.
Yeah, because he wears some funky
does it
fits.
too.
I don't know if you saw the fit he wore where he looked like the monster from Monsters Inc. He had like this blue furry top and bottoms combo. He wears some really wild shit, so it might be.
Bro, he's just a furry. Let him be, man.
No, bro, it's wild. It is wild.
It is a bit wild. I can't even disagree. But Bobby, are you going to stick with your Mason Mount chat or change maybe?
Well, I feel like, you know, I did say Mount, but I didn't catch the skin tone there. Is it okay if I switch?
You can switch, yeah.
Okay. I'll go Reece as well because it's a broad shoulder. It seems like a broad shouldered physique. And
that is true.
That's Reece.
I think I'm just not sure. Like I think I remember the answer. I only clicked through it quick, but I'm not sure if the fit doesn't like sway how the statue of the person looks. We'll see in a second. If I remember correctly, who it is.
Does he look like Reece James's height though?
If I remember it correctly, no.
Because I was going to say, if it's not Reece James, he looks like he might be a bit taller. It could be Ruben Loftus-Cheek as well.
Okay. Well, which one are you going to stick with?
I'm not going to change.
Bobby change, so I got to let you change as well.
If it's right, then if I'm right, then I'll keep Reece James. If I'm wrong, then I said Ruben, just putting it out there. But
it could be Ruben, you know, because Ruben does all this fashion. Like,
no, you know what? Fuck it, I'm changing to Ruben. Fuck it, I'll be different.
He's gonna be Ruben.
It is Chalobah, apparently.
What the hell?
Which I find a bit weird.
Bro, what the? No, that's fake. Surely, what the hell?
That looks so.
To be fair, Joe D in the chat, he had it right from the get go. Apparently,
what?
Charlie
How do you know that's Trev? He must have seen that before. What the hell?
Maybe.
What?
Well,
I've literally never seen this. That's madness.
It looks hilarious. His head looks just photoshopped on, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's a bit weird. Also, like, does the hoodie just have holes? Because initially I thought it's just patterns, but no, I think it just has holes, and he's wearing the blue turtleneck underneath. Fair enough. What does anyone want to rate the fit? I'll start with you.
0 again.
No, I didn't think it'd get worse than Hazard's, but that's worse.
But does it put Hazard's up? Or
oh no, that's still shit. But that's just even worse.
All right, Bobby, do you agree with it, or are you into the high fashion?
Oh no, that's a 1 for me. At least there's a bit of blue in it, but
it's true. At least it does have a little bit of blue in it. All right, next one. We can. It's loading. I thought we could see nothing. Where's the loading? Who's that one? I mean, we get to see a bit more skin, a bit of tattoo, which could be a hint. Pice, why don't I let you go first? Got anyone in mind?
I'm trying to think of the tattoos.
it's always tough when it's like clearly fashion, like photo shootings, because then you can't really who would wear something like this because, well, they're just given the clothes in that situation. So
Is it a current player?
yes, I will give you that
Yes.
hint. Yes.
Thought
I know who it is.
Yeah, the chat. A lot of the chat knows who it is as well, but don't look at the chat, boys.
I'm not. But,
I don't actually know, you know.
Did you reckon you got a wild guess? Which one of the white players in the team right now has a big tattoo? There's only a few.
There's only one, I think.
All right, who is it?
It's Christian Pulisic, because when he does the celebration with the tiger eyes on his arm, he's got that sleeve done.
Yeah. Pice, you gonna agree with Pulisic?
If that's Pulisic, I thought his arms were way skinnier than that.
My guy Hench, do you know what I mean?
Bro, he is. Yeah, like guys, he's quite built to be fair. I didn't think. Wow, I didn't think that was Pulisic at all.
Yeah, no, fair play. I mean, the sleeve is, in my opinion, the one that gave it away. No need to really. Shall we rate this fit as well? I don't know, Bobby. What would you rate that one? It's quite simple.
well,
It's also like, what are these boots with that
the
vest?
boots
Like,
are bad.
What is it with the boots, man? Why can't they just wear normal shoes? Like,
if he had different shoes, it'd be like, I don't know, like a 6. It's something, I don't know. It's not awful, but I would say the boots make it like a 4.
Maybe what they had to do, they had to get the bootcut jeans in, and bootcut jeans only look acceptable with boots. So I guess maybe they were forced into the boots.
Still, there's way better boots out there than that.
Oh yeah, for sure. But Pice, what do you want to rate this fit? Are we going to give any of these boys a higher fit, man? A higher rating?
nah, man, I don't rate it. I don't rate the top. I don't rate anything.
All right, Aaron, this one a bit better than the other two, or what do you think?
Yeah, that's saying something, considering that this is a little bit better, but it's one of them where you can't really rate it as a fit because you're not really going to go out or anything in that. That's just like a purely fashion shoot kind of thing. But that's like that's a 4. If Hazard got 2, that's a 4.
Fair dues. All right, get to the next one. I think it's loading again. What have we got? Whoa!
Oh, I've seen this before. I've seen this before.
I've seen this before. I will give you the hint. This picture was, I'm pretty sure, at least I haven't seen it. Hadn't seen it until now, which tells me this picture was taken while this player was not playing for Chelsea. But it is still a past or present Chelsea player. This time, Bertram tried harder to make sure you can't see any skin, so we don't know what skin color we're talking here. But anyone got a guess? Who shall I go with first, Aaron? I think I'm going to throw you under the bus first. Maybe go off the thigh muscles, size,
Oh, yeah, because I'm really paying attention to their thigh muscles in the game, aren't I?
Well, maybe not in a game, but don't know what
I'm just going to look at Google pictures of their thigh muscles now. Hold on. Bear with me.
The whole squad.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to judge it off the height, and I can't even tell. That is hard. I need more time.
That one is hard, to be fair.
I'm going to need some more time with that one.
Okay. I will give you a hint again, boys. Is a current Chelsea player. Well, yes, maybe the picture wasn't taken while he was at Chelsea, but he's currently a Chelsea player, if that helps you at all. Anyone got any idea of you boys?
Gallagher when he was at Palace last year.
I feel like
the background looks South London. That's true.
I feel like this one could be Reece. Very broad, very stocky.
I feel like Reece's thighs would be even bigger, personally, but obviously I know the answer, so it's easy for me to say that, isn't it?
Oh, I think I've seen one similar to this, not this actual one, but this
is not true. I'll give you this another. It's not Callum. It's not currently a Chelsea player, I guess, not officially, but it's not a bad shout. I think not a bad shout.
Nah, I don't know. I can't know. I don't know. Maybe it's Ruben or something, but I think he'd be taller.
Yeah.
You
got a guess, Aaron?
I'm going to throw a random one out there and say, like, Fofana.
Which one?
Wesley.
All right. There you go. Price, do you want to stick on one or?
No, I have no idea, honestly.
Fair dues. Well, boys, it is good old Raheem Sterling.
What the hell? Oh my god, bro! These are catching me off guard. Like,
yeah. I feel like this one might also be somewhat like edited. I feel like it looks like a little bit squished, a little bit. It doesn't look like Bertram did that, but yeah, But yeah, what do we rate this fit? It's certainly the best of the lot so far, but is it great? Bobby, what do you think?
I would say it a 5.
Okay.
I would wear it if my wife forced me to.
all right. Okay. Pice, what rating do you give that one?
Well, I mean, the trousers look a bit tight on him. The shoes are alright. The shirts, I don't really know about the color, but yeah, I'll give it like a 5. It's okay. It's not like, at least he's not wearing anything stupid, I guess.
Yeah. I think it would look better if he was just stood still and not doing like a step over, then the trousers wouldn't look as tight. But I do hear you. Aaron, what would you give it? What'd you give it?
I'm giving that a solid 7. I like the fit. I would wear something like that for sure.
I give it a 6, I reckon. I give it a 6, but I'm not sure about what is this? Is it supposed to be a shirt? Is it supposed to be a coat? What is it supposed to be? I don't know. But
it's like a hybrid of both.
Is it what?
It's like a hybrid of both because it's a thicker material and it's got a t-shirt underneath it.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's like Szoboszlai all over again. What are you? And we got the next one. None of you will know this, but this Donny is Oliver Pocher, German comedian. Not sure why we got a picture here with a German comedian, but maybe it gives you a hint about who it is. I feel like this one is certainly gettable. Certainly gettable. Pice, you got any clue?
Wait, did you say the guy on the left's German, yeah?
Yeah.
Thing is, I don't know like what date and that like this is from and all that. Like, it's like. You know what? First glance, I thought it was Ziyech, but I don't think it is.
No.
I've not seen. I mean, this is an outrageously fit. Like, this is an outrageous. What the coat and the fluff? Like, what the hell? I don't know.
It is a bit mad, to be fair. Yeah.
It looks like he's got like a snapback on as well, so I feel like it's like a bit of a. I don't know. Maybe stereotyping some players, but. Actually, these are so difficult. This is probably the hardest quiz so far. I can't lie.
Try to look in the background and try to look maybe on him. There's good hints everywhere.
Is there?
Yeah, there's good hints everywhere.
Oh. Okay.
Look at the chain he's wearing. Look at the chain he's wearing. What does it say on there?
I can't.
Can I go for a guess?
Maybe it's too small for you guys. That were weird guys. Yeah, go on, Aaron.
Aubameyang.
Oh yeah, that's a good shout.
Oh.
Aubameyang's huge on fashion. Yeah, I think this is Aubameyang. Oh yeah, he's done it. That's definitely Aubameyang.
There you go, Bobby. Are you gonna agree or someone different?
He always wears snapbacks as well.
Well, you said German, so immediately I was like, "Is this Rudy or Kai?" But then Aubameyang spent so much time in Germany at Dortmund. Maybe it was when he was at Dortmund. I don't see Kai or Rudy wearing that type of coat.
No, I've got it. Aubameyang has like the most. Like his Lamborghini is like chrome or something. Like he's like like flashy and all that. So it's definitely him.
There you go. What I was talking about is this hint. Look, this person looks like she's working for Dortmund, just with the black and yellow, and his chain. Maybe it's too small for you guys to see, but it literally reads his initials PEA, which is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. So yeah, it is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and like I say, some German comedian. Again, weird choice of picture, fashion, but here you go. You were saying, Bobby, go on, say again.
Who wears a chain with their initials on it?
It's a bit weird. It's a bit weird. It better be a gift. If he bought it for himself, it's a bit dodgy, mate. But sure.
The chain makes that like it's a 0. That's a 0.
I think seriously, a bit harsh. I'll give it a 3 just for the boldness of it. You know,
I rate the superstar confidence. This was when he was in his prime, so I rate it.
Yeah, fair enough. Aaron, what you gonna give the fit?
Funny enough, I like it more than a lot of the other ones we've seen. I'll probably give it like a 4. I'll be generous.
Fair dues. I think maybe we've got 1 or 2 more.
I know this one.
You know this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a picture that a few people might have seen. It might have done the rounds. I'll keep you for last then if you know, Pice. I'll ask the other boys first. Bobby, anyone in mind?
I've never seen this, but I feel like Mount has got to pop up somewhere. Like that dude does more photo shoots than anyone on the whole team combined. Also, I can see the white hand. I'm gonna go Mount.
Okay, Aaron.
I'd probably go along a similar line. I feel like if it's going to be something bold like that, and I can see the white hand, I'm going to probably go with Mount as well.
Pice?
It's Ruben.
I think the editing of this photo and the highlights of a photo shoot has played a bit of a trick on you, Aaron and Bobby, because this is
What?
What? You think you were mugged up a little bit? You thought that was just an holiday.
I saw this photo when it was first released, bro. What is that jacket? You know, the funniest thing is that jacket would be like $5,000 or something stupid.
Oh, at least. At least.
Like, it's mental. Look at like the strings on it, bro. Like, look at the size of like the fucking buttons on it. Holy shit!
It is a bit outrageous. I mean, Aaron, what are you going to rate that one then?
Funnily enough, I kind of like it. I'll be so honest. I kind of like it. I'll probably give that like a 6 or 7.
Yeah, see, I don't hate it as well, but I feel like you got to be like rich and someone looking like Ruben to pull that one off. Imagine you're like 5'7" and you wear this coat. The coat's going to look bigger than you. But Ruben being 6'4", you know, that you kind of can make it work, I guess. But Pies, rate of the jacket, you didn't sound a fan.
I don't know. It's outrageous, bro. I don't know. It's very low, like a 2. I don't know. I like the boldness of it, but like you say, like only certain people can pull this one off. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Like it suits Ruben. I don't know why. It just does. Like,
yeah, I guess.
I don't know.
I'm still also not 100% sure. Is it a scarf around there? Or is it part of the jacket? The thing that's hanging.
No, that's part of the jacket, I think.
Bro, it looks like he's
if it was a scarf, I'd let him have it more. But if it's part of the jacket, it's a bit.
It looks like a Newcastle photo shoot, bro.
Yeah, well, it's Burberry instead, so you know, close enough. Bobby, what will you give it?
That's a 3.
Fairs. Let's not dwell too much on it. It was the last one. Thanks for indulging on the quiz. If you're going to the pre-match pump tomorrow, or just going to the game, give everything. We need and want the team to win. They lost in front of the yellow wall, so let's give them the blue battalion. Sing and shout with the voices of every fan out in the world, as much as always. Up to Chelsea. Big up yourself, Bertram. As always, we appreciate and enjoy the quizzes. And ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Chelsea versus Dortmund from a Chelsea perspective. Also, if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Let's get into talking about tomorrow. Team news. First thing we need to get on. Christian Pulisic is back in the squad. I very much doubt he's going to start in terms of just he's been out for a while, so he's very unlikely to start the first game back. But he is back in the squad. The game, unfortunately, comes in still a bit too early for N'Golo Kante, who's done 2 or 3 full training sessions after obviously over 6 months out and surgery. So still too soon for him, but he is getting ever closer to coming back to the team. And then we got the somewhat fishy news about Reece James, who, of course, missed the game on the weekend, mostly precautionary, had a little bit of tightness in his hamstring. But then Graham Potter, in today's press conference, said it will be a late decision taken tomorrow, whether Reece James will be involved, let alone start. But we'll talk about it when we get to his position again later. But for me, it's just like this game, as it says on the thumbnail, is all or nothing. What game, if not this game, do you throw someone in, even if you're not 1,000,000% sure if they're 100% fit? Like, what's the point of having a fit Reece James for the rest of the season if we get knocked out tomorrow? There's no point in that. Now, obviously, you could say, but maybe we win even without Reece James, and then he could be injured for a quarterfinal, which would be annoying. But I just don't see us winning without Reece James, if I'm honest. At the same time, with how Reece been playing recently, would it make much of a difference in the back three? Maybe. What do you reckon? I'll start with you, Pice. Isn't tomorrow the game to risk it? Like, when, if not tomorrow, do you risk it?
Bro, I'd start Kante. No, I'm joking.
Kante's way a bit much.
Honestly, though, like, yeah, you've got to risk it tomorrow. But I actually think he's fine. Like, it's weird that, like, what he said today, because, like, last night, I think the quotes came out from after the embargo section of after the Leeds game. And he said in there, like, oh, yeah, I just wanted to, like, we just felt like he needed, the extra rest. He felt some tightness, but there's, like, a really strong chance he'll be available on Tuesday. So I think he'll start. I mean, Reece will want to play. Reece will desperately want to play as well.
It sounded a bit like Potter's, like, didn't want to give it away, but he started.
Yeah, it's one of those. Reece won't accept sitting on the bench for this. No chance.
No, exactly. I agree. Bobby, do you agree, or do you see players' welfare as too important to even risk in a big game that realistically our whole season depends on.
No, if Reece is 90%, he's got to go. Like, what else is there to play for? 8th in the league, you know? Yeah, this is it. It's time to go. Even if he's a little tight, I don't know. Put a heating pad on it. Let's get it loose, and he's got to go.
Exactly. You know, just send the physio on. That's every 20 minutes. Give him a quick little massage. Do you know what I mean? Do what you got to do. Aaron, do you agree? You have to risk it for this one. Like, it's not like we're talking he's 20% fit and we're throwing him in like ridiculous. But if there's even the fact that it's the fact that Potter said it's a late decision, that means he's at least close enough, in my opinion, to risk it.
There is literally nothing else to play for. So if you don't play him tomorrow, then what is the point? It just makes no sense. There's literally nothing. What's he going to do? Rest him tomorrow. We might get knocked out. And then what? Play him in the hunt for Conference League. Like, who gives a shit? Just play him. Fuck it. Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, exactly. I do see what Leone is saying here. Like, where was it starting? You don't want to create a long-term injury problem. I mean, he already has that, to be honest. I'm not really sure you're creating that now. You're risking for a fine not around the 16. Well, as we've seen with Kante, then everyone complains for the next 3 years that we risked it. So, like, you know, because it's a round of 16, even if it doesn't go well, then he has the entire rest of the season to be fit and start fresh. Do you know what I mean? Even if it goes
Bro,
bad.
we're 1 goal down. Like, you can only, like, this is like a final for us. Like, we've got to turn it around. Like, this is it. Like, if we were like 1-0 or 2-0 up, then maybe. But no, we're goal down. So we have to play him. Like, he's one of our biggest outlets for creativity. So, you know, especially if we play the 3 at the back, like, he might not have to come back as much. So, you know, you can just go forward a little bit more. So, yeah.
Yeah. Or, like Vic says, starts at right centre back. But I'm not sure about that one, Chief. We'll see. I mean, it's in the Champions League final, obviously. But again, it's the Champions League final that started at 0-0, not at 1-0 down. But the biggest question, the most important question, I'll start with you, Bobby. Would you play a back 3 or a back 4 tomorrow?
I would probably go with the back 3, but I just feel long-term this team needs to figure out how to play in a back 4. But based on the form that we've shown in the back 4 since the new year, I would just stick with the back 3. Especially, like, if Reece can't go, it has to be a back 3 because the only person who can play out wide on the right side is Ruben, that I would trust. You know, I don't think Aspi can play tomorrow.
I have no idea if he's available or not, to be honest.
It doesn't seem like he's available. It's odd that nobody asked about him during the press conference today. But, yeah, I would go with the back 3. The center backs would be Trev, right center back.
Let's hold up who you'd put in there.
Sorry.
No, good. We'll bring it up on screen. Before we bring up the whole thing, let's decide on the formation type thing.
Back 3 for me.
Fairs. Aaron, what about you? Back 3 for you as well, or would you go for the 4? I mean, a couple of people in the chat, like Ricky here, saying has to be back 4. We're creating a lot in a back 4 versus Dortmund, but then we won a game in a back 3. But in my opinion, we played worse against Leeds, even though we won, and we played in a lot of games recently in a back 4, even though we didn't win them. So I will tell you guys my decision in a second, but it's a difficult decision in my opinion, which one's the better one.
I think you can play a back 4, but play personnel which allows you to switch between a 4 and a 3. So I think I'd start with the 4, but there is that possibility where you can flex it in game where maybe off the ball, on the ball, you go different formations. But I'd start with the 4.
We do that already anyway, to be honest, but yeah.
No, but I'm talking like properly, like with the personnel that I think will play. Like, you have that ability to really switch between 3 and a 4 and make it known that you're playing that 3 rather than like it looking a little bit disjointed.
Okay. Pice, what about you? Would you pick the 3 or would you pick the 4?
I would go with the 4, but I think Potter's going to go with the 3. Made it pretty clear with that by his comments, in my opinion, after the Leeds game.
Okay, so that kind of means we are currently on 1.5 votes for each because Aaron kind of do both. So it's an interesting one. Like I say, I was thinking about it, and someone like Clutchy was saying it in the last stream where he was like, well, we need goals, so put more attackers on the pitch. So you need a back four in that sense. My problem with it is, like I touched on earlier, confidence and being comfortable matters more than the type of players you have. And if our team is more comfortable in a back three, I think our team is more likely also to score 2 goals in a back three, because it just matters what they're comfortable in, what they feel like, especially going into this big of a game. I feel like if they go into it in a back three, they will back themselves more to win it, because in a back four, we just don't win games at the moment. So it's like just subconsciously and psychologically, just from that perspective, I think maybe we should go for a 3, and people will maybe be a little bit shocked by that, because I've very much been advocating the back four constantly, even when Thomas Tuchel was here. But at this moment, this game is all or nothing. Tomorrow isn't about progress. Tomorrow isn't about a process. Tomorrow isn't about none of that. Tomorrow is about either you win or you don't. Or either you go through or you don't, rather, because, we could win or draw and not go through. But we just need to do what we need to do. And in my opinion, our biggest chance to win is giving our players what they're most comfortable with. And that is the most likely to give us to allow us to create the most chances. But then at the same time, we create quite a few chances in quite a few games when we played the back four, like Dortmund, like, Fulham, like we created chances. But I also, the whole thing, what we did against Dortmund last time and now, I wouldn't even go much by that, because number one, the pitch at Stamford Bridge is what feels like half the size of the Dortmund stadium. So in terms of counter-attacking with space, that would just happen so much less at Stamford Bridge. Also because of how Dortmund will set up to some extent, but also just purely because of the pitch. So yeah, I genuinely think I picked the back three, and I know it might not be not from everyone, the most appreciated idea and decision for me, but what we also need to realize, none of our attackers are doing fuck all anyway, right? So what do we need to do? Put our wing backs in positions where they can influence the game. And if Reece and Chile can do that, then, if that's what's necessary to go to a back three, if our attackers can't score, then we need our wing backs to score, but then allow our wing backs to be part of attacking. Because if you play a back four, it's only going to be one of them that's going to attack and not the other. And chances are we're going to score from a Reece cross to Chile or a Chile cross to Reece, and that can't happen in the back four. So I will say back three, which will then give it the slight outvote to the back three. So we will go with that on screen. But yeah, I think it will be a back three as well. But it's not like I would necessarily complain if it's a back four. I will, see how it goes if it is a back four before I have too much of a complaint about it. But we have gone for a 3, so that's what we're going to pick our team for tomorrow in. And we will have our MYKHAILO MUDRYK discussion once we get to the forwards, because what has happened to him? Where is he gone? We'll talk about that. Let's start. Well, in goal, we don't need to start. We just put Kepa in because no one else is available anyway. Captain for the last 15 in the last game. Let's see if that happens again tomorrow. Depends on if Kovacic starts, I suppose. Well, I guess no. If Reece is fit, then he will be captain regardless. Any which way. What do we do about the back three then? Thiago Silva not available. So is it just the same back three as in the last game of Badiashile, Koulibaly, and Wesley Fofana? I guess the only one else you could throw in is Trevor Chalobah.
You can't. Badiashile's
Oh, okay. That might change my whole idea of the back three.
Because I saw people saying this on Twitter. Like, people on Twitter were saying if we was going to play a back three, then Cucurella would probably come in at left centre back. But I don't know if I want that,
Oh, but maybe I do want that.
Yeah.
The only problem is the fact that he hasn't been in the squad for 3 match days. I'm like,
then you just throw him in to start. Like, that'd be crazy, wouldn't it? Like, just throw him in to start. That'd be mad. So
there you go. I mean, to be fair, what Dexter just said in the chat, apparently I'm wrong. I was judging this by my judge of my eyes, right? Obviously, because I was in the upper stand in Dortmund, it's a huge stadium. Maybe it just looked bigger from that perspective, but it looked a much bigger difference than this. Much bigger. But fair enough. Maybe not that much. But yeah, okay. I hadn't thought of that. Maybe that does change my mind. Bobby, does it change your mind at all? Did you consider it that Badiashile wouldn't be allowed to play? So
yeah.
Would you then change to a back four?
No, I wouldn't change to a back four.
So would you fill it with Cucurella at left centre back then, or would you put Chalobah in any of those positions? Because my problem is you need players to be comfortable in those positions, and none of the others are left-footed outside of Cucurella. Now, Koulibaly has played left centre-back in the back three before for us, but never looked particularly good at it.
Worst thing I've ever seen Koulibaly playing left centre back in a three, by the way.
That's what I'm saying. But it wasn't in Europe, so, maybe he does with it better.
Yeah, I mean, he spent virtually his entire time at Napoli playing left center back in a back four.
Yeah.
And he has a very good, in my opinion, his weak foot, his left foot is probably the best weak foot of any center back in the world.
Oh, any center back in the world, that's a big call.
A weak foot, Koulibaly with the left, yeah.
I agree that he has a good weak foot for a centre back, absolutely, but best in the world. Now I'd have to think who else could be.
Yeah, it's definitely a thinking exercise, but I do think it could be him.
To be fair, I thought he was left-footed. That's how good he is with his left foot.
Yeah, and
like a David Luiz, he had some pings in him with his left foot.
Yeah, Luiz was good.
But he plays at Fluminense now, so do we include that as active? But yeah, regardless, good weak foot. So would you then play Koulibaly at left centre back, Chalobah in the middle, and Fofana on the right?
I would play Koulibaly at left centre back, and I would actually put Fofana in the middle because on the ball, I feel like Fofana is the one I trust the most.
But he's the quick one, so he should be on the side, no?
Trev's not overly, and it's not like Dortmund has the pace. Like, I'm not overly worried about Dortmund's pace.
Not without Adeyemi,
Yeah.
That's true. But
that's how I would go. I would rather put
right
Koulibaly.
Your idea, no?
Yeah, Chalobah right center back. That's what I would do.
I'm generally not sure if this hasn't changed my mind on what formation we should play, honestly.
Can I just throw something out there?
Go on.
It may sound outrageous, but what do you think about Chilwell there and then Mudryk at wing back?
Yeah, no. The fact that no manager has ever played Chilwell in the back three and they always put him at wing back and never once at centre back, while with Koulibaly, while with Chalobah, can't even talk. Cucurella, that's happened. Reece James, that's happened. Lewis Hall has even played left centre back, but never Chilwell under two different managers.
I mean, Emerson played there and he wasn't a great defender.
Who?
Emerson played there, didn't he, a couple of times? He wasn't a great defender.
He did. But even then whoever the manager was picked Emerson at left centre-back over Chile at left centre-back. So that tells me Chile is a real no-go there.
Yeah.
Judging by that logic.
Chile looked really good at wingback. Well, I wouldn't say really good, but from a attacking creative sense, like getting down the left side, like Chile looked pretty good the other day. So I feel like a creative outlet is going to be Chile this match.
Oh, my days. Aaron, has it at all changed your mind? I mean, do you want to maybe elaborate in a bit more detail what exactly kind of personnel you meant, how you can kind of play both? Did it include an idea like Cucurella at left centre back and Mudryk at left wing back? Is that kind of what you were thinking about, or
not quite the same personnel, but something similar? What I would have then said is maybe if you're playing a back three, you could go. I don't know how capable Fofana would be as a left centre back. That's my only problem here. I'm not sure whether we think he'd be any good.
He did play left centre back initially. Left centre back of a 4, but off the ball it was still a 3 when he came on at halftime for Koulibaly against Southampton.
And he was pretty good.
He was pretty good.
So my wild suggestion then would be Fofana left centre back, Koulibaly in the middle.
Yeah,
Reece James right centre back with Chilwell as a left wing back and Ruben as right wing back, because that means you're playing a back three, but you're able to adapt and bring Chilwell back and play Reece and Chilwell as a back four, and then have Ruben drift into the midfield.
I see the logic behind it. My only minor counterpoint to that would be but we want Reece to be as involved in the attack as we.
But if he's saying Reece James is a doubt, that allows you to have a little bit less strain on Reece James. And even if that is the case, what you can then do is push Reece onto the right wing back and then switch it over the other side. So Chilwell either comes in at left centre back, or you play Cucurella at left centre back, or just somebody who's a bit more capable like that, who can still drift into a back four if necessary. You can switch it either way. It's a similar thing to saying Chilwell and Mudryk. It's just the other side, pretty much.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
And plus, you'd
my
want to be a
little
lot
concern
more
is just
defensively
whoever
stable.
is at left centre back will not be ideally suited to playing at left centre back. So then, should we even have a left centre back? Should we not just play a back four then?
But of the most capable solutions, Fofana would be that, and I think
I agree. So that's why I'm thinking just play a four then.
I think just the way that I've said it probably makes most sense in terms of being able to drift between the 3 and the 4. So you have that bit of comfort as well while you can still push more people forward.
Okay. I mean, we picked the 3, so let's stick with it. We can't judge what the manager does anyway. Now, I know that's not how Bobby picked it, but I would actually agree with how Aaron went through it. I would pick it in that order. Koulibaly's the slowest of the lot, so I would play him in the middle. He also is the most comfortable left and right, so therefore he can pass it both directions from the middle. And Fofana might not be the most comfortable with the left, but he's at least quick, and Chalobah is just more used to the right side, so that's why I'd probably go for it like this. I am genuinely considering put Cucurella there. I'm genuinely considering it, but like I say, he wasn't in the squad for 3 games. Should we just start him there now? But I'm considering it because then that gives you okay, you're playing with the 3, but you're not just playing 3 centre backs, so you have a bit more mobility maybe. Price, would that be the 3 you'd pick, or who would you pick, and in which order would you pick them? Or would you throw Cucurella in, even if maybe not Mudryk at wing back, but Chile still?
Yeah, I would put Cucurella there. I just can't see him starting after where has he been? No one
Yeah, but ignore what you think Potter will do, though. Just what you would do.
Okay, yeah. What I would do is I'd go Cucurella, Koulibaly in the middle, and Fofana on the right. That's what I would do.
You know what? Because it's all or nothing tomorrow, let's not play safe. I will agree. And because it's then 2 that think that's what we're going to go with on screen. But how unhappy would you be with that, Bobby?
I wouldn't be unhappy. I just feel Cucurella wasn't in good form, and he hasn't played in weeks now. And throwing him in this situation, must-win game, makes me a little nervous, but that's the situation.
The same that kind of applies to Chalobah, because he hasn't played in weeks other than 10 minutes after Aspie came on and 10 minutes last game. I know he was involved at least, but he hasn't really played in terms of,
Yeah. His form, though, for a good stretch of the season was really good, though.
Very true.
So I just have seen more positive bouts of play from him this year. And also he's very comfortable I trust him in that right center back role.
Yeah. I mean, someone said it leaves us weak on set pieces. I mean, compared to putting Chalobah in there as well, that's true. But if we played a back 4, it changes nothing, because you would still only have 2 centre backs, and they would almost certainly be Koulibaly and Fofana. So, it doesn't really change that much in terms of set pieces. But yeah, Aaron, are you very unhappy with this idea, or would you kind of might as well?
Nope, I am very unhappy with that, and the reason I say that, I'll keep it honest. Cucurella. I don't want him anywhere near the first starting 11 at the moment. I don't think he's in the right frame of mind. He hasn't been in the squad for the last 3 games. You can't then just bring him in and chuck him in the most important game of our season. Hence why, especially with what you said about Chalobah, where he hasn't really played either. That's why I think my suggestion of Fofana on the left, Koulibaly in the middle, Reece James on the right, even as a right centre back, seems most logical.
But while I hear what you're saying with that idea, at that point, why not just play a back 4? That's the part where, I know you said mix it between the both.
Because the reason you don't play a back 4 then is because you have more defensive stability here. Because with the back 4, even though it's 4 defenders effectively, the fullbacks love to bomb on. Having the 3 centre backs sitting, having wing backs going up and down, it gives you more people forward and more people back in that sense. Because when you're defending, they're going to be running back. You're going to have 5. And then you'll probably have 1 more defensive-minded central midfielder as well. And the team are a lot more comfortable when they play back 3 compared to back 4. And in a must-win game, most important game of the season, the thing you want to do least is concede first. By having that little bit more defensive stability, you're putting yourself in with a better chance.
Okay. Pies, what do you think of Aaron's suggestion? Or do you really not want Reece at right centre back?
No, I don't want Reece there.
Yeah, I see Aaron's logic behind it in terms of not overdoing it with Reece, but I'm if you're going to play him right centre back, just don't play him at all, because if he's not going to be able to influence our attack, you might and if there's any risk attached to him playing for injury, then you might as well not play him in my logic.
And look how good Fofana's been there. You don't want to move Fofana. Like, my issue is who you play left centre back. The first two for me are locked in. I think Koulibaly's much better in the middle, and Fofana is just. I mean, he's been amazing since he came back. So those two are fine. It's just who plays left centre back. That's up for debate. The reason why I've put Cucurella there is because, one, he doesn't have to go forward too much. He can keep it simple with the passes. And I mean, height may be an issue, but they're not like, as long as Haller doesn't pin on him, so I think we'll be all right.
Haller will play though, so they will have that.
Yeah, but hopefully Koulibaly could deal with him, because he'd be more near the middle. So, yeah, it's something to be aware of. I just don't I don't want to put Fofana over there or put Chalobah there, and I definitely don't want Koulibaly there because he cannot defend wide space. Hence why I've put him in the middle, and he was why he looks so much better in the middle as well. So,
I'm sure if Cucurella does play the left centre back role, Koulibaly will still have to defend the wide areas a little bit because Cucurella will be moving around if he does play that position. But yeah, I mean, it's 2 votes for this, so we're just going to stick with it, even if Aaron is unhappy with it. Sorry, Aaron. But in this formation, does anyone call for Mudryk at left wing back, or are we all going to put Chilwell in because we're not playing Chilwell, are we? After how he played last game, so yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward. No, Aaron, you would agree? If I force you into this, Chilly there,
I'm boycotting the rest of the stream.
Yeah. Okay, see ya.
Nah, yeah, of course, Chilwell there, 100%.
Fair. Bobby, you're in agreement, I'm sure.
Chilly.
There you go. And Pice, no, or are you going to throw Mudryk back in, even though we're not having Chilwell at the centre back, but Cucurella?
Yeah, I'd put Mudryk there for me. I don't think
even if so, you would not play Chilwell.
No, I don't think he was good last game.
You are mental. He was our second best player, in my opinion. Well,
I thought he was. I don't think he was that great.
It's weird. Sometimes it really confuses me what you think is good in football and sometimes what's not. But hey, we are here to have different opinions. Fair enough. So we have one shout for Mudryk. Yeah, I will stick with Chilwell because Mudryk doesn't. So putting him at wing back is insanity to me.
Yeah, but it's not. Well, I mean, if Mudryk doesn't play, if this is the formation, this is the only spot Mudryk plays. By the way, just so you know that.
See, I know Clutch keeps saying that, but I don't think there is any evidence to suggest so. Because
Felix and Sterling will play out on the as the two inside forwards, and Havertz will play up top. So,
yeah. So, realistically, yes, I agree with that. But I think Mudryk might not be picked in any formation at the moment. So,
if he doesn't,
genuinely, I don't think Potter's picking him in any formation to start with. He might bring him off the bench, but.
I don't know, man.
He left him as an unused sub on the weekend. You don't do that if you plan to start him against Dortmund, do you? So,
I don't know.
That's my logic.
So hold on, just as you said that, then what's the logic in playing Cucurella then?
None.
So then
I don't think Cucurella will play. It's just who I would put there. But I'm very sure that if we did a predicted 11, I think it's going to be kind of the back four, the back three that Bobby mentioned. Whether it's then Fofana on the left, or Koulibaly on the left, or even Chalobah on the left, could be any of them. I don't know which one's Potter going to put there. But yeah, I would do this because I'm like, might as well risky for the chocolate biscuit. I'm like, okay, play a back three, but we don't have Badiashile, but I still want Chile and Reece as the wing back. So how can I facilitate that? That's my only logic if I'm being honest about it. But yeah, there you go. I mean, unfortunately, Pice outvoted on the Mudryk there, and then Reece James. Now, Aaron, if you're not getting him at right centre back, you're starting him at right wing back then.
If I'm not getting him a right centre back, I'm not interested. But if I have to, yes. But if it was me, I would have had him at right centre back and played Ruben there.
First, okay, I hear it. Bobby, though, Reece James a right wing back?
Yeah, Reece.
Fair. And Pice, then, you basically hinted at it already.
Yeah, definitely Reece there.
Fair. Pice, I'll stick with you. Midfield 2. It's again Enzo +1, but I assume you agree. And then who is that +1? Is it Kovacic again? who else would you play? I mean, now that Ruben isn't at right wing, where I guess he could be picked in midfield, could be Zakaria. He's got some minutes from the bench this time, like a couple of times now at least. So something.
Kovacic for me, big game player. Put him in.
Is he?
Yeah,
Big
he's
game
experienced.
Experience, true. But not experience at big games because Madrid was always on the bench for those. But yeah, I don't know. I'll let you guys through it. I haven't fully decided who I want to put there, to be honest. Bobby, who would you put next to Enzo, presuming that you would start Enzo? Because
Definitely start Enzo first name. Or healthy Reece first name, but after that it's Enzo. Yeah, I would do Kovacic as well. It was just their first time playing together too. So
second.
Was
They
it?
played together against Southampton.
Okay. Well, the more time they're on the pitch together, I believe that's our most two talented center mids that could possibly.
I guess with a
dominate
back
game.
three behind them, you can do that. I think as a double pivot in the back four, this is insane stuff to play them together.
Fair. I agree with that. But in a back
We have a
three,
back three, so you can't pick it. Yeah, no, fair. Aaron, would you go with this one as well, or would you put like Zakaria or somebody else in?
Jorginho.
Shame. Bring him back to 2020.
Bring him back on a quick emergency loan or some shit. But yeah, if it's of the options left, I think it's only going to be Kovacic.
Clutch is laughing. Bro wants Pulisic in pivot.
Clutch is laughing. He wants Pulisic in pivot. Yeah, hey, fair enough. All right, well, it's 3v1, regardless of what I pick. I just don't think Kovacic has been any good since he's come back from his injury. So I'm like,
made more tackles.
Are we doing what we think is going to happen or what we want?
No, what you would do.
Oh, Zakaria then.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We need goals though, man. Like we need the
And
most.
when has Kovacic never scored a fucking goal, man?
Let
Zakaria
Zakaria
is
sit and
trillion
let
times
Enzo
more
push.
likely to score a goal, bro. If you want goals, you play Zakaria, not Kovacic, if anything. Kovacic never scores and never assists, so why would you play him 4 goals?
No, like I'm talking more about like the ball progression wise. Like I don't think Zakaria can do that as well. So
No, I agree with that. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I agree with that part. Yeah. Now that we have this Cucurella situation here, if this was 3 purely centre backs like Bobby picked, then I would maybe go cover. But I genuinely think I'm going to go Zakaria. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a vote because it's 50-50. So, ladies and gentlemen, get ready to place your vote in the chat. I will just point out the question. Who plays...
Sorry, this is so random. So I don't even know if this is... Well, is it true? I mean, Showtime said, also helps a lot, Enzo, because Cover can actually speak Spanish. Is that true?
Yeah, he's playing Real Madrid, so I assume he speaks Spanish, yeah.
Fair enough.
I mean, I don't think you can live in Madrid.
Oh, fuck, I accidentally voted Zakaria. Undo. Oh, shit.
I'm very sure that Cover speaks Spanish, but do any of our other midfielders speak Spanish? No, not anymore. I'm sure Jorginho speaks a bit of Spanish, just because speaking Portuguese and Italian, you kind of speak Spanish. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you pick in the chat. Currently, we are 50-50 on this, and we will go with whatever the chat goes for. So, ladies and gentlemen, place your vote in the poll at the very top of the chat, and in a few minutes' time, we will get back to it. Now, let's get to those forwards. And yes, Pies might be right, and Clutch might be right in terms of Potter not picking Mudryk in this formation. Like I say, I think he wouldn't pick him in any formation. So let's quickly talk about this. What's happened to Mudryk? Like, not what's happened to him, but what's happened with him, maybe, is the better question. Because, I mean, we signed him, came on in his first game, looked absolutely unbelievable. Then he started the next game, basically never got the ball from Cucurella, but still played 2 outrageous passes that could well have ended in assist, but unfortunately Havertz was about this far offside with his sleeve that he's not even allowed to touch the ball with, but rules. And then he was okay in Dortmund. You know, certainly wasn't great, but wasn't great. But was okay, I guess. And then the other times he came off from the bench, he wasn't even any good. So what happened? Like, do you see this as a case of, okay, we signed him, we wanted to throw him in at the start, we realized, okay, he's maybe not quite ready for this, whether that's physically or mentally or just ability-wise, because he needs a bit of time to settle? Or is it a case of, Mudryk wasn't a Potter signing and that's what's happening? Because I mean, plenty of managers have done things like that. Like Pulisic didn't play instantly under Lampard. I mean, Naby Keita didn't play for the first 7 months under Jurgen Klopp. You know, like some managers do this sometimes, and sometimes it's for the better of the player. But do you think this is what's happening, or do you just see Potter's pick? Well, you're currently not good enough, so you're not playing. I'll let you go first, Aaron. But what do you think has happened or is happening to Mudryk?
The more time he spent with Graham Potter, the worse he's got. That's the only explanation I can really give. Because first game against Liverpool, he was electric, and then ever since he started talking to Potter and getting integrated, it's just gone downhill. So I'm blaming Potter. I'm not putting anything on Mudryk. I refuse. My shamelessness will not let me give Mudryk any stick for this, so I'm blaming Potter. But the redemption arc starts tomorrow.
Does it? Because, like I say, it was an unused sub in the last game. So
you just wait. He's beating the 007. United beat him to it, and now he's going to.
Oh, he might beat the 007. But maybe he does that by not playing tomorrow, because
he's
then
doing it in front of the yellow wall. I'm calling it. No, not the yellow wall. He's doing it in front of the shed end. I'm going to call it.
Okay, fair enough.
Deluded confidence. Sorry.
I mean, Pies, what do you think is happening with Mudryk? Is it Potter slowly betting him in after we realized it wasn't perfect from the get-go? Do you think it's just he doesn't rate him that much, so that's why he's not using him? But what do you think is happening?
So I don't think Potter has like you're not sort of good enough, you're not playing type thing. I don't think he's that type of manager. I feel like, at the moment especially, he's got a lot of players to choose from, and I mean, this has always been the problem with when you play back three, especially. You've only you got two wide forwards, and we've got so many. Big up Lewis for the raid there as well. Everyone subscribe, like the channel and everything. Get the likes up.
Like you've done this before.
Yeah, get the likes up. I'm telling you to, so let's go.
Exactly.
But, no, I don't really know. Part of me feels like he's trying to bed him in, but then not coming off the bench last game got me really concerned.
Yeah.
Because I was like, well, like, why is he not coming off the bench? But then again, that could just be because Potter was like, oh my God, holy shit, we're actually winning. Now I need to try and just make sure we win. Like, you know what I mean? Instead of, because that was one of our frustrations. We were like, why the hell is like defensive players coming on? Like, why is he bringing Gallagher on? Even though Gallagher was like almost like on the right of the front three. It was really confusing. But yeah, I don't really have an answer. I feel like this is one of the ones where we have to wait and see over the next few weeks. But if he doesn't start tomorrow, I won't be too concerned. But if he doesn't come off the bench tomorrow, I will be concerned. Like, I feel like he has to at least come off the bench, have these cameos, because he can be impactful off the bench. Against tired legs, especially, I feel, if we go extra time, Mudryk could be like the biggest cheat code of all time. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't think he starts, but yeah, part of me thinks he's trying to bed him in, and part of me also does think it's not a Potter signing, because I just refuse to believe that, I mean, I know Potter was informed, but again, like when he had those press conference quotes the other day, he kind of, he was like, I'm the coach, my job is like to develop the players. It almost seems like he doesn't seem too bothered with who comes in. It's almost like, just give me the players and I'll just make them good type thing, so.
I guess I like that confidence. Give me whoever, I'll turn them into all right players.
Well, like but that is like his coaching career, right? Like he's got players and then he's turned them better. I mean, so far it's not working, but who knows? I mean, I don't really know, man. Like I don't know where the hell Cucurella's gone. I don't know where the hell I mean, I didn't know where Carney was, where Carney was, and then all of a sudden he subbed on last game. So I don't fucking know. There's a lot of players right now to think about, and I think just the fact that he was a big, expensive signing, people are taking more notice than it. I don't think it's too deep, but give it a few more games, and I think we'll have like a proper conclusion, or at least more of a it'll be more of a debate. You know what I mean? If this lasts longer, then yeah, it'll be a debate for sure.
First. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, that have joined from Lewis's stream, big up yourself, big up Lewis as well for the raid, appreciate it. And like he says, everybody smash that like button. Let me see how many likes we're on, because definitely not enough. Let's get to at least 150 likes instantly. We're at 84 right now, so everybody go down below, hit that like button for me. It's massively appreciated. And subscribe if you haven't already. Road to 20,000 subscribers is very much so on. We're nearing 17K right now, so please hit that subscribe button. Every new subscriber counts. Currently, though, the poll between Kovacic and Zakaria is at exactly 50-50. So I need more of you guys to vote. So please, especially those guys that have joined from Lewis's chat, please vote in the poll at the very top of the chat who you would start next to Enzo Fernandez in our proposed 3-4-3. You might not have to agree with this. This is just what we decided to go for. We weren't even in full agreement, all of us three. But Bobby, just quickly on this Mudryk situation before we pick our front three, what do you think is happening with him?
I have no idea. Yeah, it's very confusing. I'm not entirely sure. I would probably start him there tomorrow if it was my choice.
Okay.
I
wonder if you'd start him instead of. I might as well include it into
Havertz.
Would you play him up front or would you play Felix?
No, I would play Felix up front. I'm really tired of watching Kai. It's like being a dead horse at this point. And yeah, I would actually start Mudryk tomorrow. I mean, does he deserve it? No, not really. But has anyone from our attack separated themselves to say they deserve to start? I mean, Felix hasn't. Like, yeah, he's looked good summer.
Has Havertz been worse than Mudryk the last few times he played? That I will have to say no.
Sure, but has he been better? Like,
no, also no. Fair enough.
Like, I don't know. Kai just goes 90 every time. It baffles me. But Mudryk has been up. Like, one thing people always reference to Liverpool, but he was going against the corpse of James Milner at right back for a good portion of those highlights against Liverpool. So, I mean, yeah, it's a baffling situation. I'm not entirely sure what has gone so poorly, on the training ground, but at the same time, he's electric with his pace and he's a talented guy, and we need goals somehow. We do need goals somehow. That is very true. So would this be the front three you'd pick? Yeah, Yes, that would be the front three that I would just go with that. Fair enough. I mean, T-Spot in the chat said CP being Christian Pulisic is a must start. Well, you must not like him very much if you think he's a must start, because throwing someone into start after 2 months of injury is just asking them to get injured again. So that would be a stupid idea. Maybe bring him off the bench. Absolutely, especially because according to Potter, he's looked very good and sharp in training. So that's great. But don't start a guy that's been injured for 2 months. That is crazy business. Pice, we're probably all in agreement that in terms of predicted 11, Mudryk will not start. But if we pick, would you at all consider this? Would you consider dropping Kai and just putting Felix up front? Because in this formation, I'd certainly consider this a lot more than I would in a fullback, because then the striker needs to act much more like a real striker. And Kai has just been forced to get used to it over the last 3 years, basically. So he's a bit more suited to doing that than Joao Felix is. But in this formation, if you have the wide players in Gillian and Reece James, and then those can, like, kind of, whether it's making those runs or whether it's coming here and be around whoever the striker is, that makes it a bit easier to play someone that's maybe not super suited and super used to playing in that position to doing that. So would you at all consider it, or would you still keep Felix as one of the behind the striker position and play Havertz up top? Because Aubameyang and Fofana aren't available. So, if you're not playing Felix up top, it has to be Havertz up top.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know how much I can't stand Havertz, but if there's one thing that he does do is he does score a big goal from time to time. So I probably would play Havertz up there. As I said, in my predicted lineup, it definitely would be Felix, Sterling, Havertz, and I think I know like Felix could almost play like a false nine role and drift about, but I feel like he wouldn't get as much license to be like pick up the ball and stuff as he is. Like when he plays in these positions. So, I don't know. I felt like him and Chilwell last game were clicking a few times. So I'd like to keep Felix on that side. And I thought Sterling was really good. I know you guys, Laurenz, you didn't think he was like that good, but I thought he played really well. So I'd keep this, honestly, which is a bit disappointing because I want to see Mudryk start, but is what it is. Yeah, hopefully it comes off.
No CS shouts from you.
I mean, ironically, he Champions League, he does a lot better, but for me, nah.
Especially if you're playing a back three, it's a no.
Yeah, nah. Like, I mean, Christ, we saw that so many times under Tuchel, and it was just so bad. So, yeah. Yeah. It did surprise me though last game when he played Ruben at right wing back. I remember on the last preview, I was like, yeah, no, that was just a Tuchel thing, and he did that. So, I mean, who knows? He could play Ziyech. I just don't personally see it. I mean, you know, we won as well last game. Like, I know it wasn't, you know, fantastic, but he was going on about, like, you know, the balance was good. You know, we created more opportunities. So I don't think he'll change too many players, even though it's a quick turnaround. So, yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I will go to Aaron in just a second's time. Before that, let me quickly shout out Rodrigo Rodder's super chat. He says Koulibaly, left centre back, Fofana, central centre back, Chalobah, right centre back, Brandtburg, Cook, Koulibaly. Well, so then why play him there? If Brandt is going to be on the right, why play Koulibaly left centre back? I mean, Brandt might also cook Cucurella, but
Maybe he's a Dortmund fan.
no, I'm pretty sure we've seen him before here. So, and also he's donated in pounds, so very unlikely to be a Dortmund fan. But yeah, I mean, hey, I appreciate the donation. I'm not quite sure what you're trying to say, but in terms of why would you put Koulibaly there if you think Brandt will cook him? That kind of contradicts itself, if you ask me. But Aaron, which front three would you pick? This one? Would you put Felix up front and start Mudryk? What would you do?
Yeah, I'd do the Felix and Mudryk. Mudryk off the left, Felix up top, and Sterling on the right. I just think when you're going into a game, I think it's obviously being a goal down as well. We kind of need to go at them from the jump, and I think it's easier for someone like Mudryk when you're starting the game where they're probably not going to be as defensive as later on in the game. If you were to sub him on, that gives him probably the best chance to actually run at their defense. And I think, is it Meunier that plays right back for them? I'm not sure,
usually.
But it's
Wolf. Yeah, Wolf's not the greatest. So if you're gonna have,
but he handled him well in the first game, I will be honest.
Yeah, but the thing is though, he's still got to have that time to really settle in. But I think if there's one time to prove yourself, it's going to be in a big game like tomorrow. And I just want to see it. It'd be really exciting to see Mudryk, Felix, Sterling all together. I think that'll be. I think it will take them a little while maybe to just get used to playing with each other. But I do want to see that. I think it's probably going to be a bit more exciting for the fan than seeing Havertz play up there.
Fair. Before I explain what I would do, because I don't know yet, the chat very narrowly, but 53 against 47 has picked with their Kovacic. I would give you a little bit longer, but now I kind of need to give you another poll. So, ladies and gentlemen, who would you play? What would be your front three is what I'll ask you. What would be your front three? And then I'll put Mudryk, Felix, Sterling, Felix, Havertz, Sterling, and I guess
if the chat chooses Felix, Havertz, Sterling, I've gone 0 for 3 on my suggestions today, so I might as well just not turn up next week.
Yep, that's true. And also, to be fair, how bad you were with judging who the fashion people were, like, shocking, mate, really.
You're lucky you weren't involved in the quiz and you were the quiz master. Let's see next time I will.
I would have got them all spot on.
Oh, I bet you would.
Especially because I'd seen the answers before, so yeah, that helps. But there you go. I mean, Rodrigo says Potter would do that, not me, bro. I'd play a back four. Okay, is that what you're saying? Well, maybe. I don't disagree in terms of your previous super chat that's the back three that Potter will pick. I'm not sure about the Fofana central centre back because, like I say, he's the fastest and most mobile of all of them. So I'm really not sure even Potter would pick him in the middle, if I'm honest. But we'll see. But yeah, appreciate another donation, mate, and appreciate you for clarifying. But yeah, I've given you the option, ladies and gentlemen. I've only given you 2 just because anything else is going crazy. But yeah, Felix, Mudryk, Felix, Sterling, Felix, Havertz, Sterling. I could have put, like, I don't know. Well, Mount is suspended, by the way. If people, there's always a few that complain when we don't put Mount in. He's suspended, so can't play because he's an absolute moron, but also the referee's a moron for booking him, even though in my opinion he looked like he had nothing to do with the whole situation. But anyway, which way? I will give you a minute more to decide, but it looks so far like this one is going to win, the Mudryk, Felix, Sterling situation. Now, Graham Potter did in the press conference today confirm that Kai Havertz is now our new first choice penalty taker after Jorginho left for Arsenal. Now, if you guys are not starting, if we are not starting Havertz tomorrow, which we all know in the predicted 11, Havertz will most definitely start, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. But if Havertz isn't there, who would you let take the penalties, Aaron?
Are we talking about like in the squad that we've got on screen or just in general?
I guess you might as well then put what the squad on screen, yeah.
I mean, there's not particularly all that many candidates. You've got Reece James, you've got Joao Felix, probably Raheem Sterling will be up there as well. Mount
For me,
as and when he
Sterling
plays,
genuinely isn't
but
even an
other than
option.
that,
I've seen him miss so many pens for City.
yeah, but when you're looking at just the options that we have, even though his record probably isn't the greatest, they'd probably still be in and around the conversation for it. But other than those names, I don't really see that many
Enzo,
many
maybe?
options. Who? Sorry,
Enzo Fernandez.
I don't know what he's like at penalties.
Oh, did you not watch the World Cup final?
He scored the one in the World Cup final, but aside from that, that's one penalty. You can't.
Yeah, that's the only one I've
generalise
seen
how
of him
it
as
is.
well, so I have no idea.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure if he's ever taken another one for all I know. But yeah, no,
Yeah,
okay.
that could be a possibility as well.
I agree. It's kind of between Felix and James in this formation, though. I agree, Bobby. Who would you let take the penalties if Havertz isn't playing?
Reece. Not even Reece for sure for me.
Are you picking that purely on the basis you think he's most likely to score? Because partly I do think what's hampered and hindered us a little bit, also in terms of public perception, is like when we had the season where Jorginho finished as our Premier League top goal scorer because he takes all the penalties. If you just let one of the forwards take the penalties, that wouldn't have looked that stupid. So I'm like, do we really want to go from the DM to the right wing back or right back taking them? It's just another one where we're like, at least if one of the forwards gets penalties, but even though we don't get penalties nowadays because we don't attack properly, that would be my only point against James, where I'm like, just give the forwards the pens because they need the goals for the confidence way more than anybody else.
No, for me, Reece is every time I've seen him take a pen, he's just like very composed, calm, and he's put it in a good spot. So also with this team, he's the cap, like him or Kobel. Kobel's probably the captain, but Reece maybe the future captain. I would go with Reece. He's very composed at penalties, and I just trust him the most out of these names.
There you go. To be fair, true. A couple of people in the chat are saying Enzo missed his penalty against Netherlands in the semi-finals. It's a fair point. Pice, you said it's between Sterling and Reece for you. Is it between those two? Yeah. And who would you then pick if you had to pick one?
Kovacic.
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. I know you're enough to. No, you wouldn't.
I mean, I don't know. Well, I mean, if Felix starts, probably him, to be fair. But yeah, if it's not Sterling or James, Felix. But I mean, I know I replied with like the ghost picture to see if Zidane or Havertz taken him, but I don't know. That's just my agenda more than anything. He'd probably score.
Yeah, that is it. He would. He did in the Club World Cup final.
Yeah, I mean, someone actually said he scored 10 out of 11. I didn't think it was that good, to be fair. Like, I know he scored some important penalties. I just didn't like. I don't know. I thought he'd missed a couple as well, but he's only missed one, which is pretty impressive out of 11. To be fair, it's very impressive.
I wouldn't mind Pulisic taking penalties, but number one, he's not starting. Number two, he's not going to be here after the summer, so it kind of seems like a pointless pick. Pulisic never missed a penalty, has he? That's pretty impressive. How many has he taken though?
Wait, what do you? He might be here, Laurenz. What do you mean? You think he's going?
Yeah,
he's taking a lot for
£35 million, mate. My nan could buy him.
Huh?
We apparently set our asking price for him at £35 million. My nan might buy him.
Who?
Who? Pulisic, apparently.
Oh no, you said Felix won't be here.
Oh no, I was talking about Pulisic. I said because a few people in the chat said Pulisic, should be. I wouldn't hate it.
On Twitter, you said that why would you give it to a lone player? Because I thought he might stay longer. So.
Yeah. No, that's my reason. When he signs permanently, I think Felix is a valid option.
Okay.
But I just don't. It's more principle idea that I don't think it should be a loanee who we're not certain about will stay here. Especially he's not certain about staying here. So I'm like, I don't know. Will your conviction be what I need that conviction to be? I don't know. It's more principle. I don't think loanees should be penalty takers. Not the first choice. That doesn't mean he can't take a penalty in a penalty shootout, or if say Havertz doesn't play. If Havertz doesn't play, I don't even mind Felix taking a penalty. But I don't think he should be picked as the first choice of that. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, let's see what the chat is so far, at least. Again, ladies and gentlemen, place your votes. I want more picks, but so far it's the Mudryk, Felix, Sterling one winning, because I want to highlight one last comment before we round this one out on this topic. EPL Turf, I think, makes a somewhat valid comment. He says, I don't like Kai at all, but if we play Felix in the middle, I assume he meant who would do headers in the box from RJ and Chilwell crosses. Not sure Felix is tall enough. I don't disagree with this.
Who's doing headers if Kai is on?
Well, Kai, because that's what he scores most of his goals with for us.
But it hasn't happened since 2023. Like, I mean, it hasn't happened in months.
No, he did score a header against Palace. I think it was a header, wasn't it? Or was it a tap-in? I think it was a header.
It was a header.
The one win we had this year.
I'm just saying, like, we haven't scored goals. Like, it's not like he's been dominant in the air.
But we also haven't had Reece James and Chilwell playing in crosses in the back three, to be fair. So, I don't know. But yeah, I do still think that. And also, who's going to defend the front post when Felix is the guy? Because that's always Havertz when we defend set pieces. I don't know. But this is not the team that Potter will pick. We don't think about necessarily, who's going to defend the front post when we have corners against us. We just pick a compromise of 4 people. So here we are. This is what we're going to go for. Ladies and gentlemen, the last thing to discuss, score prediction. What are we saying? Pice.
Score prediction. Oh my god. Jesus. I don't know. I don't like this because I like seeing the team first, but you know what? I'm going to go 2-1 and we beat the Germans on penalties.
All right, I back it. Aaron, score prediction.
See, when I do these, I tend to get a little bit crazy with it, and I lose my head sometimes. I don't really think realistically.
Hold on to it tight, mate.
Oh, I'm holding it right now. Don't worry, my camera's off, but I'm holding my head. See, I don't know whether we're gonna keep a clean sheet or not, because that just indicates to me how many goals we score. Because I think we're winning this, so I'll be optimistic as per usual, and I'll probably go for like 2-0. 2-0, I want to say, but I could easily see it being like a 3-1. But I don't think this goes to extra time or penalties. I think it's done in 90.
Okay, Bobby, your score prediction, man.
2-0 Chelsea. First goal's a pen. Second goal is Pulisic scoring the winner against his former club.
Hey, whoever scores the winner, I'll fucking take it. But what did you say? 2-1?
2-0.
2-0.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because I agree with Pice that it will at least go to extra time. I'm not sure about penalties, but I think it will go to extra time. I'm just not sure if I had 1-0 or 2-1. Knowing us, more likely a 1-0 personally. But then it's just a question of does anything happen in extra time? They get an equalizer, we get a 2-0, or does it go to pens? I will say 1-0 and we win on pens. And Kepa saves the day again, as he so often does in penalty shootouts. Yeah, that's what I'm
Wait, can
say.
I quickly change my prediction?
Of course, go on.
3-0.
3-0.
I let go of my head and the optimism it just came out, so I'm going 3-0.
Fair dues. All right.
It's gonna be like 2-0 late on. They're gonna be pushing for that equalizer on aggregate, and then it's gonna counter and finish them off.
Bro, we haven't scored a counter since like Kante season.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Just believe. Don't worry. Potter's tricky blues.
I rate the delusion, bro. I rate it, to be fair.
Bro, if you don't do that, then you're just gonna be upset. So I might as well be a little bit happy now, and then tomorrow I won't worry about it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about it much, but just to bring it up on screen, Matt Law said Chelsea's Champions League fate could sway Joao Felix's decision, while a number of Chelsea players face financial hits if the club miss out on qualifying for next season's tournament. And the headline is Joao Felix admits Champions League will sway a future decision as blah, 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 whatever. Because Joao Felix was the player during the press conference, I didn't watch that part. But yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if we don't make Champions League that Felix isn't going to be that interested in playing here. But which is partly why I don't necessarily want him to be our penalty taker. But is Atletico even in the top 4 in Spain?
Apparently, this is an opinion article, by the way. Someone just told me that.
Okay,
so.
Atletico are 3rd, by the way. So they will probably make the Champions League. But yeah, it might be opinion. But the title says Joao Felix admits. So that means he said something along those lines. But I didn't hear it. I didn't see it. I didn't read it. So what can I say? But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap this one up. ginormous game tomorrow. It doesn't get bigger than this, really. Well, it does, but not for us at the moment. All or nothing. Just fucking go for it. Yeah, we have to do what we fucking can, man. I'm just hoping and praying. If tomorrow goes well, I think it can change a lot about our season, about the mood in the fan base, which I think we desperately need at the moment. But if we just get knocked out, no matter if it's a draw, loss, or however, or on penalties, my God, we're going to be miserable for the next few months. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you're still here, I appreciate you very, very much. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe. That'd be massively appreciated. Hit that like button on your way out. And yeah, cross your fingers, squeeze your thumbs, and let's hope we get it done tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea, upwards and onwards, and we'll see you next time.